Today, we're gonna make some tiny homes for some occults, and this is the part 4 of the series. And it's been a long time coming because, as you may or may not know, I've had some struggles with getting into this lot, but I have finally managed to get into the lot again, thankfully. And all of the houses are here: the mermaid, the spellcaster, the imaginary friend, RIP garden, the ghost house, the server house, and the fairy house over there. And as you can see in the back here, we have some more houses, some more tiny houses that we're gonna build with today. Well, not all of them. We're gonna do 2 houses today, and to choose our occults, we're of course gonna use our good old spinny wheel over here. And what we have left is a vampire, alien, werewolf, flat sim, skeleton, and unicorn. Boom. So without further ado, people, look away from Superman over here, and we're gonna spin our spinny wheel. And oh yikes me, I'm kind of nervous. Okay, let's spin it for the first house of the day. And let's go. First house, let it be good. Werewolf. Okay. You know what? I'm so happy about that. We all know werewolves. We all love werewolves. Or some of us at least. Pretty solid choice. Okay, let's build this werewolf a house. A tiny house. Alright, so werewolves. What do I think of when I think of werewolves? Twilight? And by the way, that song is also used in Norwegian milk commercials. And I was about to say Tina sponsored me for that, but I don't really drink milk, so that would be a scam and a half if I got sponsored by them. Why would I be... What are we doing? Back to the werewolves. I mean, I think of werewolves crawling around the woods, doing the woodsy things, run down, low down. Well, yeah, good brainstorming, Nora. I loved it. So for that, what are we going to do for that? I mean, I think first of all, I want to do a little bump out on this house. We're allowed to do that. Just a teensy bit of a bump out. And I do sort of kind of think that I want a bump out to be like so. Because I haven't done that yet. And I think that would be kind of fun for the werewolf. I don't know why, but it is. It's fun. And let's see. What about the wallpaper for the house? Maybe we can go with some bricks? Because I haven't really gone with some bricks before on any of these houses. And I feel like they would live in a brick house. Because the wolf with the brick house blowing it down. I mean, that is a bit of a stretch. Maybe we can have a different wallpaper on this part. For some reason, that was fun. And then for the roofing. What are we going to do about the roofing? I mean, there's no particular roof that really screams werewolf. So I think we go for the simple one like so. We can't really do that many shebangity shaboos with a tiny house. But we could put on some of this roofing, the moss, with some mossy roof trimming. Yeah, sure. Then I don't think we're gonna have a roof on that part. That's gonna be like a balcony thingy thing. But we can have a little overhang roof on this part right here. Just sort of like so. And now for the doors and windows. What are we gonna use? I mean, we could maybe try with this one, the Shrek door, as I like to call it. Now for the windows, I'm not quite sure. We could go for the classic werewolf windows. But we could also maybe pair that with the adventure that waits. That is kind of in that little campy style that we're after today. Are we? Why am I itching my own armpit? Okay, Nora, cut that out. Goodness me. But alright, what more can we do for this house? We could maybe put up some planter drawers. And then we can also have a door right there so they can get out to the balcony. And then they also do need a door to get into their backyard. What is that door gonna be? I'm not quite sure, but maybe just in the middle for now. Yeah. Then I'm also gonna put up some reinforcement. Because so yikes me, this house, it needs to be reinforced. And then maybe I can also put up a neon sign for some reason. I don't know why I'm feeling that, but I'm kind of feeling that. And then we can have some awnings, maybe one there. Already put up one there and one there, so do we need any more awnings? I don't think so. Alright, and do you know what else we need for this house of ours? Some vines, because of the nature vibes. I'm just gonna put them all along the house as I feel like it. And then maybe we can also have a chimney on the roof right there. Oh, and a satellite dish. Yes, they need that. You know, they're in the middle of the woods, they want to watch TV, they need a satellite dish. And what else are we gonna have on the roof? Maybe some plants, if I can squeeze them on there, because you can never put plants on the roof when you want them. But yeah, just sort of like that. Plants on the roof, plants on the wall, plants everywhere. And then I do also think that right here by the door, we are gonna put up some string lights. Oh, that would be so cozy. Werewolf or not, you need the coziness. And then maybe also a garlic garland, because the werewolves, they don't like the vampires. They need to protect themselves. And they can also use that for cooking, so, you know, 2 flies in 1 smack. And then on this little balcony right here, what can we have on there? I mean, we can't really fit that much up there, because we only have 1 tile. But what if we squeeze in the broom for some unknowable reason? And some wood, and a telescope maybe, they can look at the moon. I mean, that is absolutely not usable, but whatever. Let me tell you, nobody is gonna download this lot and use it. But you know, we can also have some plants, some raggedy ones. Okay, yeah. Ooh, I love this. And look at that, I also put up a dog welcome mat. Of course. And then for the front and the backyard, we need a fence. The fence is all in. And let's see, how big were the guns gonna be? I forgot. For the front yard, it is 3 tiles. Backyard, it is 4 tiles. That is right. And since that is our bump out, our front yard is right there. And then the backyard, fence it all in. All neat and nicely. And what are we gonna have for the front yard? I'm not quite that sure, but we can have a chair, a burlap chair. And then I think like a lot of plants up in here. But I'm gonna away with that. But in the backyard, I am kind of thinking, now hear me out. I'm kind of thinking that we're gonna have the bathroom in the backyard. Because I feel like that's what werewolves would do. Have their bathroom in the backyard. So we're gonna put up a little party bush, aka the pee bush right there. with a little roll of toilet paper because they're not animals. I mean, they kind of are, but not that type of animals. And then maybe right here we can have a shower and the sink movement with a little prison mirror. And then I do kind of want to divide up the space between here so they can get a little bit of privacy. So what can we use for that? Oh, what about this one? The plant divider. Hey, that can work. A little bit of privacy on this side only, not to not to this side. They don't care that much. All right, they don't. And then maybe we can have a little hay bale over there with their towels. And then maybe just a workout machine over there. You know, yeah. Werewolf city up in here. I feel like that was a wonderful backyard. Okay, and then for the trash bin, they're gonna get the oil drum. And for the mailbox, of course, the woodsy mailbox right in there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And now I am gonna put up the plants that's gonna be around here. And they're gonna be woodsy, scraggly, werewolfy, just plants. And I'm gonna put them up, okay? And my plants are up in the woodsy, scraggly style. Is that what I said? Put them up there around this house. And it's kind of looking, I mean, it's not looking beautiful, but it's looking cool. Looking werewolfy, if you can even call it that. But oh, okay, I do like this house. It's so out and about there, shopping away in the woods, you know? I do like it. And that, my friends, is the end of the landscaping and exterior. Why did I make that so mysterious and ominous? I don't know, but we're gonna continue on inside. And for the inside, the plants are sticking through the wall. Oh, gee. I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix everything. There we go. Anyways, for the inside, we need to do some sort of layout in there. That we do for the first floor and the second floor. And, ooh, okay. Think, don't I think? I do maybe think that we can have a staircase right over there. And then we can try to squeeze in the living room over here with a kitchen and dining. And then on the second floor, that is gonna be the bedroom. Yeah. And what is the vibe and the theme for this house gonna be? Also a very good question. I mean, rough and tumble. I mean, we're at least gonna continue on with the brick theme, like so. But we're gonna try to make it a little bit cozy because the bricks are not cozy. We're gonna try to make it cozy. And how we're gonna make it cozy? With some knickety knacks. Oh, what if in this house there are two werewolves and they're roommates? And they were roommates. They're kind of in their teens, early 20s, that type of vibe. They have a lot of knickety knacks, a lot of stuff, a lot of things on their walls, cozy vibes, werewolf teens living alone. They're living their best life. We're gonna go with that. So you know what? Let's start with the kitchen first, as I like to do. And what do we think for the kitchen? I mean, I do certainly, just by the top of my head, I want these counters. Kind of shabby, kind of nice. And then we're gonna pair that up with the DIY sink right over there. And then what do I think for the fridge and the stove? I mean, we could go for this type of fridge and this type of stove, but I don't feel like they're that shabby. They're just a little bit of shabby, you know? So what if we go with that fridge and that stove? Yeah. And then I'm also gonna put up my cabinets right in there. And what do I feel like for the knickety knacks today? The kitchen knickety knacks. I mean, what if we put up some dog treats? Because that's kind of funny. It is. Or at least I think that's funny. And then I do really want to divide up the entryway part with the kitchen. And I think we can use a bookshelf for that. So what if we use this one? Plop it right in there. Okay, that is good. Very shabby. Dividing it up. Happy about that. Then I'm also going to plop in an energized seltzer and a record player. Not a record player. A box of records. Gee. But alright, for the entryway, we need a broken down mirror. Oh, and maybe we can have some paw prints. Some dirty paw prints. Yes, that is perfect. With also a rug. And what about a pet bowl? In case they would want to do that, you know, they have the option to. And then they can have some more shoes over there. As you know, dogs in them shoes. And speaking about dogs, what if we put up the leash wrangler on the wall right there? They need that. That's good. Alright, and then for the dining table, that's gonna be right there, I do believe. What are we gonna do for that? Use this one, the classic dining chairs. Just a cute old corner for my werewolves. And then for the living room, can we squeeze the werewolf couch in there? I really do want it. I mean, it barely fits. And it's not really the optimal choice for this. Why did I put in that couch? No. But come on, that is too perfect. We need that. We're gonna make it squeeze. Yes, today we are. And then for a TV corner, maybe we can squeeze in a TV over there. If I just put down some tires and plop on a TV on that. I feel like that can work. They need a TV. Because gosh, I put up a satellite dish for them. They need the TV. And then we can also make this place a lot more cozier with some pillows. And this crate over here. And this rock guitar. Wow. Cozy old movements. With a cuckoo clock. And now for the moment that I've been waiting for. All of the knickety knacks that we're gonna have on the walls. Or the posters and stuff. So what do I do about that? What about that one? Plop it right in there. With a moon poster and maybe a neon sign with some more records. Maybe we can also have some grim propaganda on that too. And this big old thing back there. there. Some creepy old Polaroids. And some more neon stuff. Oh, and of course some postcards. Boom, bam, boom. This is looking so cute. I do have to say. But it's not over yet, people. Oh, no. Because now we're gonna put up some string lights. And I think it would be kind of funny. Because they are teenagers. Teenage werewolves. You've heard about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now get ready for the Teenage Werewolves. What was I talking about again? String lights. Yeah. And for that reason, it would be funny that on each wall we have different types of string lights. So we can have some of this, the bulbs, and then we can have some stars, and some flip-flops, and the branches. And oh my, this is so cute. I love this so much. I would live here personally, but that is just me. But I would live here. You know, I would. Come on. Oh, that is a cute old living room. And I do believe with that, the first floor is done. And now we're gonna move up to the second floor. And for the second floor, we have to remember they were roommates. And I'm just going to use some test furniture for now. So what if we have the beds over here, and then we can have some sort of desk moment right over there, with some sort of a dressing situation right in there, and then we can have some baggage over there. That is not that important. I mean, yeah, I think we can squeeze all that in. Not the best sort of layout, but remember, teenage werewolves. And I don't think that teenage werewolves are that good at layout, so it's not my problem. It's not my place. It's not my area. But let's do the bed section first. So what if we have a bedside table in the middle right here? They're only gonna have one. They're best of friends. They only need one. And then we can also just plunk down some raggedy old carpets underneath there. Rugs, I mean. And then for a desk situation, that was going to be right there. I'm going to have that in red, actually, because I've never used that color before. And this year is all about starting shit. And I don't know why a red desk equals starting shit, but apparently it is. Maybe one of my 2026 resolutions should be about lying. Just starting lies, spreading rumors. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, my scrapbooking resolution didn't work out. That was also one of my resolutions this year. Have I scrapbooked once? No. But anyways, for the dressing situation, I'm gonna plunk down this one in that shade, that swatch. Shade swatch. It is a swatch, yeah. Or we could go all out with the Coach Travel Trunk. Wow! That's what they spent all their money on. No, I'm not gonna do that. Alright, what else do we need in this room? We need something there. What can that be? Ooh, a punching bag. They need that. They have so much anger in them. Imagine being a teenager and a werewolf. You would have so many emotions. Just all of them right off the bat. Maybe we can also have a robe there. I don't know why they would want that, but I'm gonna pretend that that is a jacket. Why don't we have any jackets that is hanging on the wall? One singular without anything else. Why don't we have that? I should make that. I don't know how to make that. Not a stop. But anyways, I'm gonna put up some posters and stuff on the wall for my angsty teens. My little angsters. What? I don't know. And then of course the same old shebang shaboo with the lights. And maybe we can also use this one. I mean, what do I have to say about that? That is a choice. Yeah, teenagers is allowed. Then I'm also just gonna plunk down this one right on there. Sure. That is cute. And you know what? Whoa! I love this room. And I'm also done with this room. It is so cozy. I'm so happy with this. Just two teenage werewolves just living their best lives in their cute old tiny home. And that was indeed the whole werewolf tiny house all done and up. And now we're gonna move on to house number 2. So let's spin away for that. 1, 2, 3, spin away. Let it be good, let it be good. Ooh, a vampire. Oh my gosh. A vampire. Today we're only gonna have the most generic occults ever. I see how it is. But you know what? I'm not gonna complain. But it is kind of funny that the vampire and the werewolf are gonna be close neighbors. But what do I think of when I think of vampires? I mean, again, Twilight, The Vampire Diaries, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, True Blood, Dracula. But I don't really feel like any of that's gonna help me in this situation. But what I do feel is that we're gonna go for a gothic house, because that screams vampire. But here comes a bit of a problem though with gothic houses, because as you can see with gothic houses, they have a lot of stuff going on with the roofs. And we only have a little box of a shell over here. So what? Oh, a pickle and a half this is. But what if we try to go with that sort of roof right there? Can't remember what it's called, but it has a very flat top. That was a horrible explanation of that, Nora. Go home. Why am I so mean to myself? Don't be mean, Nora. This is not the year for that. That was last year. Anyways, let's make this house. Right. So let's start this all off with creating a little bump. And what is a bump that we haven't done before? Maybe just one singular bump in the middle. That's gonna be kind of hard to work with, but we're gonna work with that today. Okay, now for the roof. We're gonna make that weird old, square old, flat old roof. That would not be described as flat at all. We're gonna try to make that today. So first off, I'm gonna make a platform in the middle and raise it up to high heavens to about there. And then I'm gonna take my half hip roof and place it right there. Take it in, take it out, so it sort of aligns with the platform. And then also press Shift C to take the roof in a little bit. And now my fence has disappeared, oh gee. But anyways, I'm gonna copy this roof and place it all around this build. And it turned out like so. All of my fences has disappeared. What are we gonna do about that? Maybe what about a debug fence? Will that stay up there? Yes, it will. Okay, I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be kind of difficult though, but I'll manage. And manage she did. It looks kind of strange, but we will take it today. It doesn't look that strange. Come on, Nora. Believe in yourself, and I will believe in myself. And I'm gonna put up this roof on our teeny tiny part right there. Boom shamalam. How can we make this more vampire-y? What if we put up some of these dormers right in this part? Right there. Why is it turning black though? Anyways, it's on there now. But it's still not vampire-y enough. And what can we do to make it more vampire-y? What about this one, the gargoyle? What if we plonk that down on the sides of the roof? And it's staring directly at the werewolf house. Oh, yes. But yeah, that was a roof. What are we gonna do about the wallpaper? What are we thinking today, Nora? What do you want, Nora? What about a life and death? Can go with some of that? Oh, what happened there with the column? I'm gonna fix that though. Boop, boop, boop. Cool. And I getting there. What is the color theme of a vampire? Black and red? Red for the blood. The blood of the victims. But before I continue on my blood of the victims segment, I'm gonna put up a roof right there for a little porch movement. And where is the porch movement, you may ask? Well, I haven't put it up yet. Wait a minute. It's gonna be right in here. Bam. Boom. Shama. With also a staircase. Well, now the whole fence disappeared. But I think it would be stranger if we did that. Yeah, it would. We're gonna have it like so. But now back to my blood of the victim segment. I want to incorporate some red into this build. And what if I do that with the columns? I just go like so. Will that look absolutely ridiculous? I mean, now we got columns on columns, but I don't care. At this point in my life, I do not care. Does that look ridiculous? It could be a vibe. I do kind of like it. I do wish that the exterior trim was also red, but it's not red. But we don't have the exact red color for the short wall trims. It's not the trims, it's the friezes. What about... Anyways, what about the windows? You can have some good old vampire windows right up in there. And for the vampire door, now that one. And then in the middle for the teeny tiny part. What windows are we gonna go with? Oh, I think, if I can find it, we're gonna go with the castle estate windows. Because they have some teeny tiny ones. Kind of in a gothic style. Oh yeah, vibes. I like that. And then to pop it all off, I'm gonna put a gargoyle right there. And also one of these at the window. And maybe one singular planter pot. And my good old lovely vampire vines all around this house. Just sort of like so. My good old home for my vampires. And now on to the front of the backyard. What can we have? I mean, we for sure do need a staircase. Oh, and maybe we can have this doormat. Please. Doesn't really fit with the theme, but come on. No werewolves allowed. And their neighbor is a werewolf. They have kind of matching doormats. You know what? I'm gonna allow that. And then I'm also gonna put in a grave right there. And then also make that grass so dead, like you wouldn't believe it. Wow, beautiful. And then in the backyard, we can put in some plasma fruit trees. Because they love them plasma. Oh, it died. That's how I fixed the problem. Now we got some plasma fruit trees with the plasma fruit on it. Thank you, gallery. And then you know what? The vampires, they're also gonna have a telescope. But instead of looking at the sky, at the stars and the moons, their moon, they're gonna be looking at the werewolves right there. Because they don't trust them. And then we can also have one more grave over there. Maybe one over there too. And also plop down a little sitting moment in the middle. And just make it all so dead up in there. And we will have a beautiful old moment. Ooh, right row. I think it's time to put up some rocks around this house. Because we kind of need that for that training. And we've already had so many rock moments. R.I.P. Imaginary Garden. So for this rock moment, I'm going to make it a little bit scary with some dark rocks, some spiky dark rocks, and some dead old plants. And let's see where we go from there. And this is exactly where I went. It looks so dead up in there. And that was the point. Look at that. For my spiky rocks, my dead old plants and bushes. It is looking good. And I have nothing more to say about that, really. Vampires. Okay, no, shouldn't have said that. But that is one heck of a garden. That I can say. It's one heck of a garden for my vampires. Yeah. Alright, let's move on inside. And for the inside, we do have to make a sort of a layout. And I've already placed the back door right there. Thought it was fitting. And oh my gosh, what is a layout that we haven't done before? Okay, we have that one. Staircase there, staircase there, staircase there, staircase there, and staircase on the outside. Okay, you know what we haven't done before in our layouts? Putting the staircase in the middle of the house. That is probably a very, very bad idea. It's probably a very, very good reason that I haven't done that. But okay, we're gonna try that. I'm gonna challenge myself today and we're gonna try that. And let's see, where is all the other stuff gonna be? What if we have the kitchen and dining over here? And then the bathroom. What if we have the bathroom right there? Because then we will have a little nook in here for the living room. That can be a cozy moment for the vampires. And then on the second floor, that can be the bedroom. What do we feel like for the wallpaper, by the way? I mean, I for certain want some dark old planks for the wallpaper. Do we want to go all black? I don't know. Maybe I want to try with some red walls. Whoa! That is a scary old moment. Okay, you know what? What if we try with some red and black walls. And we do not have a black swatch in this one. Okay, perfect. What about this one? Just pair that up with just some black walls in there so it's not that in your face. Maybe that could be a good idea. Yeah. And then maybe just up here for the bedroom, we could just have some good old red wallpaper walls. Yeah. Okay, so let's get to finishing. Ooh, I don't know why I put that chair down there, but I did. But if it's in, maybe we can have that there. I don't know. But let's see. So we're gonna have the kitchen over there. And right in this corner, we can put in our dining table. Do we have a red old dining table? Ooh, kinda red. That is more red. And that is what we're gonna have with this cobweb. Ooh, and by the way, what if on the table, we have a little flask because of the blood? And this straw because of the blood. Yes. Okay, and then for the kitchen, I do think I want some stones behind the kitchen, so you can just separate it off a little bit, protect the things, something, and that something may be a red old kitchen. It's more of a maroon, but whatever. And we could go with an old-timey fridge for the gothic vibes, but I do feel like they would have a banging fridge because remember, vampires, they drink the plasma and they need to keep the plasma fresh. Wait, hold on, do you keep the plasma in a cold place or in a warm place? I mean, cold place for sure, but don't quote me on that. I'm not an expert. I've never donated blood before because they did not want my blood. They said, Nora, no, go out. But anyways, oh, you know what would have been so cool? By the way, if we put up some shelves right here, and then on those shelves, we can put up some plasma packs and some fizzy plasma. That would have been kind of funny. I'm gonna do that. Oh my gosh, I love that. I even put up some plasma wine, or some nectar, I mean, and that is beautiful. What else can we put in this kitchen? Maybe we can have some sort of kettle, because they use that to warm up the plasma. I mean, sure, yeah, we can do that. Looking lovely, looking lovely. And since we're on the topic of drinking, what if we have a little mini bar under the staircase? That is probably not functional, but again, I don't care. Okie dokie do. What can we do for the living room? It's a very tight of a squeeze of a space, I must say. We could perhaps squeeze in the couch. Barely fits in. Ooh. And by the way, vampires, they love the plasma. And therefore, they need a plasma TV. But maybe not that one. Do we have a gothic TV or something? What about that one? Could that be an idea? I mean, sure, why not? You know? Yeah. And then I'm gonna hide up this window with this one. This and that and boopity bop. Yeah. Ooh, right. Now for the bathroom. What if we go with these tiles? They're very out and about there and kind of ugly, but look at this house. Look at it. We're gonna have those tiles. And what are we gonna have in this bathroom? You know what? Vampires do not have any bladder needs. They only have the hygiene needs. So for that reason, we're only gonna have a bathtub and a sink, but no toilet. Because they don't need it. Now we're gonna give them a mirror because vampires can't see themselves in the mirror. But maybe they do have a mirror because they have a sense of humor. You know what? Yes, that was a good idea. And I'm also gonna give them some toothbrushes and some teeth. Look, they gotta take care of their fangs. And one of them have fake fangs now because they lost them in the Great Vampire War. And that is a story for another time. But alright, out in the entryway, we do need something. What is very vampire-ish? What if... This is such a dumb idea. But what if we have these bathrobes? And we just pretend that that is their cloaks? Moving on. And I'm gonna move on to putting up some dirt here and there on these walls because this is an old house with a lot of grime. Boom, shamalam. The grime is up and I'm happy. Boobity boom, boom, bam. Let's move up to the second floor for the bedroom. And for the bedroom, we need some beds. Oh, and of course, we can use the coffins. And what coffins do you want to use? Maybe this one. Ooh, I like that coffin. That's a good old vampire coffin. I think we're gonna have one there and also one there for the vampire couple, but they sleep in separate coffins. I mean, it would be so crammed if two vampires were gonna sleep in one coffin. I'm just gonna say it right now. That would have been horrible. And then for the other stuff, maybe we can have a chair over there, a very creepy, scary one, with also the statue for some reason, the forgotten woman. I don't know why, but it felt right, you know. And then we can also have a vampire lore book right in there. That is their shared diary. And you know what? What if the vampires have the coach trunk? You know, they're rich. Sure, it's in. I'm happy about that. Truly. And then we can also have a creepy old urn and a creepy old skull and call it a day. Oh no, we need some curtains up in here. You can have that one and a matching one over there with some grime on the wall. Now for these windows, maybe we can put up these type of curtains. I mean, vampires, I feel like they would close up their curtains real tight because of the sunlight. But let's just pretend that they do that. They haven't closed them up yet. They're not home at the moment. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. The icing on the cake. A creepy chandelier. We can have a creepy chandelier in here too, maybe. Yeah. And then I'm gonna turn down the light a little bit. Sort of like so. Whoa! That is a creepy old house. Look at the grime from the vampires. Lovely, lovely jubbly. And you know what? That was the whole vampire tiny house. All finitoed up. And what a time we had. We laughed, we cried. Nora was confused by herself many, many times. And you know what it's time for right now? Oh, it's time for a house tour. So strap yourself in. Because the house tour is happening now. Yeah. today. And we're gonna pop this tour off with the werewolf house. And I can see the front of the house and the back of the house in all its glory with a messy old backyard. The toilet paper. Oh, but let's step on inside of our house. Well, it's not our house, it's the werewolf house. And we shall see the inside of the house. So here we have the living room, the entryway, the kitchen with the floating books. Oh no. Anyways, here we have the dining room and the fish eye. Another fish eye. Alright, let's get all upstairs for a bedroom. And here is the bedroom. Ooh, cozy. Cozy moments with the bands and the desk over there. This is a messy old cute old moment. I love it. And here's also an overview of the house. We have the first floor and the second floor if you would need that. Now you have it. Alright, popping along to the vampire house. Here we have the front of it and the back of it with its blood details. We also have the backyard with the plasma trees, telescope, and the graves. Oh my, the graves. And if we step on inside this house, we are met with this teeny tiny entryway, a teeny tiny bathroom. I have to really fisheye this. Wow. Then we also have a chair corner, our dining nook, our funky old kitchen with the rest of the kitchen stuff, and also our living room. Wham wham. Let's go upstairs. And upstairs we are met with the bedroom with our coffin moment, our other coffin moment, our couch trunk, and our creepy stuff. And there's also an overview of the house. We got the first floor and the second floor for you today. And that was indeed our beautiful occult houses. The vampire and the werewolf. And you know what it's time for right now? It's time for the outro. And welcome. This is the outro. If you want to download this build, you can't because you have to wait until all the parts are over and then I will upload it to the gallery in case you would ever need that. But if you also want to see more of me, you can. I have my second channel where I do stuff and I also have my Twitch channel where I also do stuff but live. And the links will be down below for that. And don't forget to like, subscribe because it really does help me out. So thank you. But only if you want to. Only if you want to. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.